Hey everybody, I'm JJ Johnson. You're watching Reality Survival, and today I'm just going to talk with you a little bit about sawmills and milling your own lumber. I don't currently own a sawmill, but my neighbor does. And so today I got to experience the joy of cutting lumber that comes from your property. So we had a big hickory tree out here, and it was about, let's see, I had 3 6-foot logs and 1 4-foot log from the main section, and they were probably 15 inches in diameter, something like that. And I was talking with my neighbor about it the other day, and I said, man, I'd love to get some lumber out of that. And he's like, well, let's use my sawmill and cut it up. I was like, okay, that sounds like a great idea. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a heavy-duty crate, like 6 foot wide, 3 foot deep, and 3 or 4 feet tall. And I'm going to use that with my pallet forks for not crate, but a pallet basically, for carrying firewood. So when I go and I'm bucking wood and everything, I can stack it all on there, stack it on the tractor, and then just take it right to where we need to take it, And as opposed to with the little carry-all that I've got, it's a smaller platform and you can only get so much on there and everything, so this pallet, this firewood pallet that I'm going to build is going to have to be heavy duty because the wood out here is all hardwood, and so it's heavy. And so I was like, man, I could use some true 2x4 dimensional lumber and some true 4x4s, and I could put together a pretty heavy duty deal, that would probably work really well. And so that's what we cut up. We got some 1x in here too, and so I'm going to show you this wood, and then I'll show you some footage from cutting it as well. And man, it was just really cool. One thing that he was telling me about it is that, so let me give you a side view of this right here, is that really the hardest part about the whole thing, so that's all the lumber we got, which is a lot, I think. I was really impressed with how much it is, but he was saying that the hardest part about it is that you got to get it set up right, get it on a proper level ground and all that kind of stuff. And once you've got that and you've got everything in place, it's pretty easy. We cut all this up in under 2 hours, I'd say. Maybe it was probably right around 2.5, something like that. Even with cleanup, it was less than 2.5. And this is, like I said, this is shagbark hickory. And there was only 1 log with a split in it, and you can see that piece there, I think. Right there, but all the other pieces pretty well came out good, and it's just a beautiful piece of wood. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to build this crate. He's going to help me out, and we're going to build this crate, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. As you can see with the footage that I'm rolling in here, his is a manual mill, and so it doesn't really take all that much to pull it through the wood. It cuts a lot faster than I was thinking it was going to. Like I said, I've never had experience with these before, and it's really pretty straightforward. They've got, this is an older system. It's a little over 20 years old, and he's replaced the motor on it, but he's kept it up and kept it well maintained. And the blades, he said, only run about $22 or so per blade. And so, yeah, do I think that this is a good option for preppers? Absolutely, I do. If you've got a wooded lot, especially with the rising cost of lumber these days, if you have a wooded lot, this might be something you want to check into, and it's something that I'm going to check into. He said, you know, when he bought it, it was something to the effect of like $4,300 or something like that. So they're probably a little more expensive now because time has passed and inflation and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you can get a pretty straightforward setup for, you know, several $1,000s, and you've got several projects, you know, that you're going to be doing. Like, he built a whole cabin down on his place and all kinds of stuff. I mean, you could build anything with it. I mean, you know, it's, if you've got the timber and you can haul it and get it onto your rack, and I mean, you can cut anything you want, you know. So it's pretty cool machine, and I was very impressed with it. And I think that it's definitely something that preppers should think about if they're on a homestead and, you know, they have the ability to do it. Now, he recommended that when you put this thing down in place, you want to go ahead and put it on concrete. He tried it with doing, you know, compacted stone and all that kind of stuff, and it just didn't, it would never hold level. He said the best thing to do is, when you're going to do it, just take you a pad, pour you out a nice pad, get it nice and level, you know, with concrete, and then, you know, put your rails down on there, and then go from there. And now his is a nice little setup because he's got a barn right there, so he can pull the machinery part of it into the barn to keep it covered, and then just pull it out and cut whenever he needs to. So that's a really cool setup. So yeah, I'm excited to build this pallet. I think it's going to be awesome, and I think you guys should think about one of these if you're in a situation where it makes sense, you know. And that would be that if you've got some acreage and you've got some trees on it that need clearing and those kinds of things, you know, bigger trees, right? We're talking, you know, you're probably going to want 6-inch or bigger, you know, because you've got to kind of cut off the sides and square it all up and all that kind of stuff, and then kind of take your pieces out of it. And so, you know, you're going to want to have trees that are at least 6, but up to, hell, I think it said his will go up to 22 or 24 inches in diameter. So it'll cut a big tree, you know. Yeah, I just thought it was a lot of fun. We had a great time out there with Gary. Thank you for doing this if you're watching. We definitely appreciate it. And, you know, this also kind of goes to speak to some of the stuff that I've been talking to you guys about as far as trying to build relationships with your neighbors and those kinds of things. You should do that. You should spend time and money and you know, getting in there and getting to know people and trying to build good relationships, because it's worth so much more than really any of the other things you can do as far as getting prepared and all that kind of stuff. You got to have community. And so I'm really thankful to live in the neighborhood where I live. It's not really a neighborhood. It's we all have big properties, but there's, what do we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4 people that live fairly close to us, you know, probably within a quarter of a mile. And they're all real good folks. So I'm super happy to live here, and I think it's great. But anyhow, just wanted to show you this footage and show you the lumber and how it came out. I'm leaving the bark on the edges because I want it to look kind of rustic, you know. I think it'll look kind of cool leaving that live edge on there. So we chose to do that. You can, you know, go ahead and clean it up and all that, but I thought maybe it would be best to leave it on so it'll look kind of cool. So anyway, that's what we did. But we'll let you know how the build goes, and I just wanted to show you guys this stuff real quick. So don't forget, proper prior preparation prevents poor performance. Stay safe, guys. Bye.